so much for joining us for our Salute to the Big Bands. Our special guest was on the very first national television broadcast of the Lawrence Welk Show, and I've had a crush on him ever since. We've all laughed at his hijinks and marveled at his musicianship. Please welcome Rocky Rockwell.
Oh, I love you, Mary Lou.
It's mutual. Does this show from 1960 bring back some memories for you?
Yes, it did. I watched it all. A lot of memories there. And especially with the bands and everything, and the individual, musicians and everything.
And that was the largest band I've ever seen on the Welk Show.
Mm-hmm.
8 strings, 5 trumpets.
5 trumpets.
Amazing. So, when you were a little boy in Missouri, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I believe a horn player.
Really?
I believe so, yeah. Or as well as I can remember, I wanted to be a musician, or even because I started out so young.
How did you start with the trumpet?
I lay a lot of the blame, or in grade school, the music teacher's name, you won't believe this, was Mrs. Sharp. And there was some piano players, the girls and violin players, and so Miss Sharp says, I'd like to start an orchestra here. And I loved, just as a kid, I loved that idea. But she said, we would like to have a brass or something. And she said, trumpet player. And she already knew, like, those that of us that might have been a little talented as far as having an ear, what we'd call an, musical ear.
Sure.
And she said, so I took that idea home and presented it to my dad, that I want to get in the orchestra there at McKinley grade school. And going to work one morning, my dad was an electrician, and he passed called him hock shop or pawn shop, early in the morning. And in the window was a silver trumpet. My dad looked at it and I guess remembered what I said, bless his heart. And he goes in and he says, Mister, I only have a $5 bill in my pocket. Will you sell me that trumpet there for my son? He wants to play in a school band and everything. And the guy thought for a minute. And this is the story that my dad told over and over and over. And he took the horn out of the window and gave it to Dad, and he said, I wish him luck. And everything is a simple story, but that's how I acquired my first trumpet.
Did you love it right away?
Yes. Oh, I never stopped. My dad used to build, this back in the Depression and everything, he used to build what they call crystal sets.
Sure.
And he would put those on my ear. And when he took them off, I would raise a ruckus. Boy, you couldn't hear. I wanted that music, that young, that I believe it was an instigator or something that led me down that. Listen to music,
So how did you happen to meet Lawrence Welk?
Traveling. With some traveling bands and everything, and Pauline, my wife, and we settled in Grand Island, Nebraska, and I got a job on a radio station, KMMJ, and Lawrence Welk came through to town, and as he used to do promotional things, he would go to radio stations and, at that time, and make just look around and hand out tickets or pencils. He was a promoter. And so I was playing a broadcast. What do we call ourselves? Oh, golly. But it was just a polka band, and he came in and listened to the broadcast, and afterwards he says, I'm looking for a trumpet player. Just like that. and said, would you be interested? And I couldn't commit or something like that. And he asked where I was from. I said, St. Joe, Missouri. He said, the Frog Hop Ballroom. He says, I'm going to be playing there. Would you come down and set in? So I rode this milk train down there. My dad picked me up, took me to the Frog Hop Ballroom that night. I sat in with Lawrence, and halfway through it, he come back and he says, can you do anything else? And sing a song. And I'm no singer or nothing, but I knew, so I sang Sunny Side of the Street. And Pauline's sisters were all in the audience, and a lot of the people there at St. Joe, they knew me. The roof went off of the place, you know. So I sat with Lawrence and Tom Archer, the ballroom operator back there in the Midwest, and he said, well, I think I can use you if you'd like to join my band. And he said, if you can play a polka, you can't be all bad. True story. True. That's how I met Lawrence Welk. And then later on, Dick Dale joined a few weeks before me in Omaha, Nebraska. That's how I came to be with Lawrence's band.
Now, when you were on tour with the band, I understand you had a great story about the Red Rocks Theater in Denver.
With Pete Fountain. We played there. Beautiful place. The acoustics was marvelous. And Pete, as you know, when he joined the band, he was bald. And Lawrence would keep kidding him about, got to get something growing up here, he would say. And finally, Pete gave in and got a toupee. So we started playing our concert, and the wind was blowing something fierce there.
So this was an outdoor concert.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Red Rocks Amphitheater. And Lawrence says, put your music away, boys. And he told the audience they know everything by heart anyway. So we put the music, put it under our music stands, and he called Pete out to do his thing, and he started playing, and the toupee went like, and I stood up in the brass section with my trumpet and went bang, 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 to that effect, you know. And the people were laughing, and here come the little linens and everything, and they're chasing this black object along the floor, Pete's toupee, and brought it back to him. I can remember that so well too. It was the band stopped. You know, the people were roaring in that place.
And I'm sure Lawrence made the most of it.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It was a showstopper. All right. Yeah, it was great.
Now, were you really Minnie the Mermaid on the show?
Mm-hmm. Larry Hooper's tune. Larry singing, oh what a time I had with Minnie the Mermaid, blah, 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 blah. And I happened to be, believe this, in a mermaid costume. My legs all tight, stretched down in this tail, you know, down there. And I'm laying on the dock, and I have a gorgeous blonde wig. I don't know where Rose Weiss found that. But I had it laying there and blinking my eyes and listen to Larry sing. Well, the way the song ended, down at the bottom of the sea, and I'm supposed to fall off, or I did. I fell off. And Chuck, Crone, and all they had some mattresses down there for me to fall. And another guy had a bucket or half a bucket of water. And I was supposed to fall off, drop down on the mattresses, and then he was supposed to throw the water up in the air. Well, I fell. I did my part, you know, but there was no water, and it was a little dead air there. And finally somebody said, the water. And the water come up, and they said later, Rocky fell an awful long way, you know, before I hit.
Well, TV was
Yeah.
live back
Yeah,
then.
Larry Hooper. Yeah, it was live. You bet.
Well, you were also married for 57 years. What's the
57.
secret?
What's the secret? I would say there's only one person that could be the secret, and that's Pauline Elizabeth Rockwell,
What a beautiful tribute.
my wife. Yeah.
Rocky, we're so lucky to have you here.
Oh,
Thanks for joining us.
No, I wouldn't have missed this for the world, Mary Lou.
And thank you all for joining us. And until next time, as Lawrence always